Solve for a if a raised to power 8 minus a square all over a raised to power 4 minus a square is equal to 9. Hello everyone, welcome to our maths class. In our solutions today, we are going to solve for a in this Maths Olympiad mathematics question. But before we solve, kindly like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Once you subscribe to this channel, you'll get a regular update of our videos once they are produced on a daily basis. Don't forget that subscription to this channel is absolutely free. Thank you. Now, to solve this question, we are going to find what is common in the numerator and the denominator. In the numerator, we'll find out that a square is common. And when we remove a square from a raised to power 8, we'll have a raised to power 6 minus what? Minus 1. And that will be all over. A square is common. When we remove a square, we're going to have a square minus 1, and that will be equal to 9. So absolutely, a square will clear a square, and we'll be left with a raised to power 6 minus 1 all over a square minus 1, and this will be equal to 9. Now we can simplify this further to give us a square raised to power 3, because 2 times 3 will give us what? 6 all over a square minus 1 equal to 9. And this value can also be simplified to give us a raised to power square all in bracket 3 minus 1 raised to power 3 all over a square minus 1, that will be equal to 9. Now let's simplify this. Now you'll come to note one thing, that we have a common power here, and that reminds us of an algebraic function, that if a raised to power 3 minus b raised to power 3 is given as an algebraic formula, the result will give us a minus b all in bracket a square plus ab plus what? B what? Square. Now, if we have this given to us and we apply it here, we'll come to know that our a square will be equal to a, and our 1 will be equal to what? B. So if we include that in that expression, we are now going to have a square minus 1 on one side multiplied by a square all squared plus a squared times 1 plus 1 squared. All will be divided by what? A square minus 1, and this will be equal to 9. Now come to see the fact that we have two expressions that are common, a square minus 1. A square minus 1 will clear a square minus 1. So we'll be left with what? A square all in brackets square plus a plus 1, and that will be equal to plus a square, and that will be equal to 9. Recall that this should be what? This is a square. So that will give us a square, and that will be equal to 9. Now let's make our a square to be equal to m. If we make our a square to be equal to m, we are going to arrive at the quadratic equation. That will give us what? M square plus what? Plus m plus 1 equal to what? 9. If this 9 comes over here, we'll have our m square plus m plus 1 minus 9. That will be equal to 0. So if we simplify that, we'll finally have our quadratic equation, which is m square plus what? M minus 9 minus 8. That will be equal to what? 0, because plus 1 minus 9 will give us what? Minus 8. Voila, we'll have our quadratic equation. So we are going to solve this quadratic expression. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as to get a regular update of our simplified mathematics once they are uploaded. Now we're going to simplify this quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. We call that the almighty formula. In this expression, from the almighty formula, we have our m to be equal to minus b plus or minus square root of what? B square minus 4ac all over what? 2a. From that expression, we'll have our a to be equal to 1 because we have 1 here. We'll have our b to be equal to 1 because we'll have 1 here. And then our c will be equal to minus what? 8. Fine. Now let's go ahead to now input this value into the quadratic expression. If we input this value into those quadratic equation, we are going to have our m to be equal to minus 1 plus or minus square root of what? 1 square minus 4 times 1 times minus 8, and that will be all over what? 2 times 1. This will give us minus 1 plus or minus square root of what? 1 minus times minus will give us plus what? 4 times 8 will give us 32, and this will be all over what? 2. Fine. So we will now have our m to be equal to 1 minus 1 plus square root of, that will give us square root of what? 33, square root of 33 all over 2, and the other root will be minus 1 minus square root of what? 33 all over what? 2. Very good. Now come to look at these two roots that we have gotten for as the root for m. This very root, if we simplify this, we are going to have a value that is less than 0. And this shows that this is an imaginary root or a non-real root. As such, we are going to neglect it. So the only real root we have is this root, which is what? M equal to minus 1 plus root square root of 33 over what? Over 2. Now recall that we said our a square is equal to m. So if our a square is equal to m, so we'll have our a square to be equal to minus 1 plus square root of what? 33 divided by 2. Now we want to definitely remove this square from this side so as to have a real value for what? For a. And to remove a square, we need to square root both sides. So we'll square root both sides to have our square removed. This will give us the square root of minus 1 plus square root of 33 all over what? All over 2. So this square, we'll call this square root. I will definitely have a value for a finally to be equal to square root of what? Minus 1 plus square root of what? 33 over 2. So this is the value of a that satisfies that exponential equation, a raised to power 8 minus a square all over a raised to power 4 minus a square equal to 9. If you did enjoy this class, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also share this video with your friends and colleagues. Thanks so much for watching.